Hey guys, I always talk about being under the tree and the moment I had that God encounter when I spent 2 days under the tree. And I realized that what happened under the tree literally changed my life. It was something like I had never experienced. And after just looking at what happened, where I was, where God took me, it really led me to find out what was that? What caused that? Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was a God encounter, but what was that thing where I was at the right place at the right time, doing what God told me to do? Because I understand that if I can somehow figure that out, then I can help so many other people have their God encounter. They may not be sitting under a tree. It may be in their prayer closet. It may be in their bedroom. It may be in their car. But there were things that happened that were extraordinary. Now, as I have been praying about, Lord, what was so different? I've done silence before, I've meditated before, I prayed before, but what was that thing sitting under the tree that was so profound? Well, you know what I realize is that in the middle of COVID, in the middle of chaos, in the middle of my life literally being turned upside down, I was praying to God for an answer. I was praying to God, help me get out of this financial bind. Help me get some of this government. I'm going to be real with you. Help me get some of this government money, and I need the money now, God. I was dealing with friendships and relationships that were upside down. I was asking God, help me understand, Lord, what is happening with me in relationships? And then my marriage, and I talk about this all the time, and I'm very transparent. Me and my husband during this time were really on the brink of divorcing, of separating, of going our separate ways. So I was asking God, I need an answer, Lord. I don't want to lose my family. I want to build meaningful, strong relationships that are God-centered. Lord, I want to save my business. I have employees that I employ that are looking for me to help put food on their table. I was praying to Him. And while I was praying to Him, what I realized is that God was speaking to someone else that was the answer. Isn't that crazy? I believe we think when we pray for something, a lot of times it's going to come through us. But let me tell you, what I realized, and the secret to this is that while I was praying, God was speaking to someone else who was the answer. Now, the answer came from Bishop Kim Brown. Right? Now, one of the things that he's always said is that he has a good ear, right? Now, a lot of people would discount that. When we talk about what's in your hand, right? Now, what Bishop Brown had in his hand was a good ear. God had given him and purposed him and gifted him with a good ear. A lot of people, like I say, when we're looking at what's in our hands, and sometimes we say, well, I'm a good intercessor. I'm a good listener. But that's nothing, God. How can you use that? Because we all want something huge in our hands, right? But God gave him a gift of hearing. He used that gift, his purpose, not only to change the trajectory of my life, my business, but countless others. That good ear has built churches all over, sites all over. That good ear has empowered business leaders to grow and scale their business. That good ear is teaching other pastors, and he's going on to do consulting and probably so much, much more. He's launching deeper with what he had in his hand, which was a good ear. So what I realized the secret is that while I was praying to God, Bishop Brown became the answer because he decided to use the gift that God had given him. And I just want to encourage everyone that you are the answer for someone's prayer. There are people waiting for what you have in your hand. Thank goodness Bishop Brown didn't discount that good ear, that gift, and the purpose to hear God's voice clearly. Thank goodness that when I went to him, he told me, sit under the tree. And he specifically said, this is what I hear God saying. And he didn't say sit under the tree, but he told me to spend 2 days in silence. That good ear has unlocked potential for me to launch deeper, for me to impact the lives of so many people, not just in this area, but all over. That good ear. So I'm telling you, don't discount that gift that God has given you. Believe it or not, that gift that he's placed in your hands is the answer to someone's prayer. There are groups out here. There are organizations out here. There are communities out here. There's this great big world that is in chaos. But God is speaking to someone today, and he is asking you, or not asking you, but he's saying to you, you're the answer. But are you bold enough to be the answer? Are you bold enough to take what God has placed in your hand and use it to be the answer to someone's prayer? That's the secret. That's the key. That's what I realized. That's the lesson from under the tree. Be the answer.